Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And it is time for Home Repairs and Solutions here on KWTO with Mark and Mary, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air, Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Amana dealer. Mark isn't here this morning, so your host this morning is Mary Pearson. Mary, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. How are you doing this morning?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Good. I heard you were kind of flying solo last hour.
Flying solo the last hour, but things worked out well.
Well, I knew you could handle it.
Sure.
That's why we're glad you're here. Well, I'd like to say welcome to everyone. Welcome to the show today. I'm real happy and excited to be here today. I have a special co-host with me. Some of you probably remember her being on the show back in June, but it's Sarah Ivaska with Solutions by Sarah. So welcome to the show, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thanks for helping me out today.
Absolutely.
And then Sarah brought along a guest. His name is Robbie. Robbie is with Messenger Plumbing. So we will be able to answer all kinds of questions for our listeners today, questions concerning any plumbing issues. If some of you might remember, Sarah is the handyman, we should say handy lady.
I'm a handyman, but a girl.
There you go. And, of course, I do heating and air conditioning, so I think we just about have everything covered. So if anyone wants to call in and ask us a question, we'd be glad to answer it and help you out. We'll start out here. We'll give out the phone numbers so you can get ready for those. They're all free calls, so the first number is 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. So we'll be ready to answer any questions whenever you want to give us a call. We'll be here for about an hour, and we appreciate everyone joining us today. So I guess we'll start out with you, Sarah.
Yes, ma'am.
I guess that things have been pretty good for you since I saw you last on the show. You've been busy and
Been very busy, you bet.
good. You might want to just remind folks a little bit about some of the things that you can actually do to help them out, because you do a wide variety of things for people.
I do, absolutely. I do painting and trim work and remodeling and tiling and sheetrock, and I'll get up in your attic and crawl around. I'll get in your crawl space and crawl around. It's not my favorite, but I'll do it. And, anything, detail work. I have some clients that just have me over to hang pictures. I have some clients that call me when they're ready to repaint a bedroom or just whatever. So wide array of things. I have, now that fall is here and the leaves are starting to fall, I will do some debris removal. It's a great time to do that when all the leaves are off and we can get the dead stuff out and haul things off for people. And
Do you clean out gutters as well?
I do. I like to clean out gutters.
You
I
do?
have yes,
Okay.
I know. I'm one of those weird people, and I'm okay with that.
Well, that's a very important thing to do, because last show or a couple shows ago, we had a gentleman on here that's a roofer, and he said one of the things that is damaging to your roof is if you do not clean out those gutters, because as it rains and snows and whatever kind of weather Mother Nature's going to bring us this year, or especially ice, if that can't get out of your gutters and that starts backing up underneath your shingles,
Yeah.
now you have roof problems, and that can be avoided just by cleaning out the gutters.
Absolutely. And not only that, but then just over time, the weight that is sitting in your gutters, it starts to pull away from your house and create other issues as well. So definitely cleaning out the gutters, I love to do. I have a little special tool I put on the end of my power washer, and I'll get up there, do it by hand or with the water hose or with the power washer, whatever. It's good. Keep the downspouts cleaned out so you get a good flow and good run of the water coming off your roof.
I would imagine those downspouts, you can't see inside of most people, if you don't get up. I would imagine they can get pretty clogged with just debris and small things running down through there and causing all kinds of problems that way as well.
Absolutely. And it just takes a small twig to get in there sideways to start catching leaves and things like that going through. So it's very important to get those cleaned out. And I have a little special snake thing. I call it the snake because it's really long.
There you go.
It's not made for gutters, but it works perfect for gutters. And I'm a believer in using what you have. And if
what
it
works. Yeah.
That's right. So I use that and I send it through, and if it gets hit something, I'll get it out and go from there. So Pretty
Okay.
easy process, painless, but it saves you a lot of money in the long run.
Absolutely, because replacing shingles on a roof can be very costly.
Very costly.
Not only that, then you might end up with a leak later on, and then you have inside issues and all kinds of stuff. So
Absolutely.
it's just
Preventative maintenance.
absolutely preventive maintenance will save you a lot of money.
Yes.
But job security for you, though.
You're horrible.
That was Robbie.
That was Robbie.
Sorry.
I think Robbie wants to talk now, so we'll talk to Robbie here for
Well,
a minute.
no, I'll just,
Being ornery.
making sure that they know that if they did have a roof leak, you could take care of all the inside stuff as well.
True.
That's true. That's true. Well, Robbie, why don't you give us a little bit of information about your company? I'm guessing you do residential and commercial, or
I do residential, commercial. Mainly I do new construction, residential, remodeling for residential and commercial. I do all service work for both of those. Just basically anything that you need, I can pretty much take care of for the most part.
is there anything plumbing wise? Since we're talking about preventive maintenance, is there anything plumbing wise that people need to do before winter? Like, for instance, I know if you have outside faucets, it's a good idea to disconnect the water hoses from them. And then, do you need to wrap those or anything, or can you just disconnect the hose and turn them off, or what do you need to do?
It's usually best to put one of those little the winter covers over them. One thing that you might want to do too, though, because you can't always guarantee that they're sloped at the right angle in order for them to drain out. So if you've got a little air hose, open your faucet, turn your water off to the house, open the faucet up and run air up inside there, and then close the faucet. And what that'll do is that'll make sure that you get all the excess water out. That way nothing's sitting in there. If it's pitched backwards, it will actually hold water, and that's what causes it to freeze and bust. So anything that you can do to help get that out would be good.
Okay. Is it about all? I mean, most of plumbing, I guess, is either under the house or inside the walls or something. So I guess there's really not a whole lot of preventive maintenance type things to do.
Not for like winterizations and stuff. I mean, unless if you're not living in the house, then you need to have a professional come out and try to get all the water out of the lines and the drain lines and put stuff in so those don't freeze and bust. But
Do you do that as well?
yes,
We have several clients that actually do spend their winter in different parts of the country where it's warmer. So I wonder if they do that, or if they just turn the water off. That's something I hadn't thought about. I know that when we have a camper, we winterize our camper for that same reason, and we blow all the lines out and put a little bit of is it antifreeze?
yeah, like
Okay.
the marine grade antifreeze
Yeah.
and stuff.
And my husband does all that, but I hadn't thought about doing that for people who actually winter in other parts of the country and leave their homes here. So
I've
Yeah,
been called on many jobs with Robbie that has happened, and it has flooded their entire house because the pipes have frozen, and then when they thaw, they break, and the water is just pouring in everywhere. So it's really important
Yeah,
to
if
take
you
the
do,
steps beforehand.
a lot of people if they are like they do winter someplace else, and sometimes they'll have people come over to their house once a day or whatever, run stuff. But if you don't have anybody doing that, then you definitely want to have it winterized just to kind of help protect. I mean, it's not a guarantee that you're not going to have a problem,
sure.
but it's the best thing for it.
So if someone wants to do something like that, if they want to winterize their entire house like that, how when they come back in the spring, so how do they need to flush their system then at that point, or what do you do when you come back? Do you need to get all that out of your pipes, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, basically, whenever they come back, they just want to turn the water back onto the property, and then just run everything, because
okay.
you're going to have antifreeze in the toilet tanks and the toilet bowls, all the P-traps underneath the sinks, in the tubs, which none of that can get on them or hurt them. But you just want to just flush everything, just flush toilets a couple times and make sure you get all that out. I mean, you don't put antifreeze inside the water line, so that's just going to be fresh, clean water
Oh, I
coming
see.
through. So,
Yeah.
because I mean, the only thing in the wintertime, you just blow the water lines out, so it's just air inside there instead of water.
Okay.
So they just turn it on and let it run.
So a homeowner can actually just do that themselves when they come back into
Oh, yeah.
town for the summertime. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we hadn't talked about that before, but that's something that some of the snowbirds might want to consider before they take off and go to Florida or Arizona or wherever it is they go for the winter. So
Now, yeah, and if they try to do it themselves, though, they need to take precautions of, like the water heaters. If it's gas, make sure they turn the gas off to the water heater itself.
Okay.
If you don't want to leave that on and then just have air inside there.
That
Because
would
then
be
it'll
bad.
super
probably not.
that air.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
not a good idea.
So there's quite a few precautions they need to take it's not just the fact of blowing the water out of your lines and pouring antifreeze down the toilets and stuff. There's a few more things that need to happen, but
So what you need to do is call Robbie and have him winterize it for you. And then when you come back, you can turn the water on, but have him, hook the water heater back up, everything, make sure
Yeah.
everything's working. I think it's just a good idea just to have a professional come out anyway, because if something does happen, you might not know how to handle it if it happens immediately.
Sure, and that's what we do on the show. Is we always recommend that. Now some homeowners are pretty good at doing some things, but most of them aren't experts at everything. So we have found out in the long run, it's cheaper to have a professional come out and help you than get yourself in a big mess, and then it costs you more money. We've had some clients in the past who's tried to install their own heating and air conditioning or their own ductwork and end up in kind of a pickle. And of course, we will go help them out when they get into that situation, but they usually make some pretty costly mistakes when they do that. So if that's something that you'd be interested in and you're not real confident or comfortable in doing it yourself, then sure, call a professional and have them help you out. Call Robbie. What's your phone number, Robbie?
it's 417-773-9154.
And is your office here in Springfield, or where are you
I'm actually
located?
based out of Billings.
Oh, Bill. Okay.
It's
okay.
basically right on the Billings Republic line, so not too far out, but
But you do a lot of work in, I would guess, Springfield, Ozark, next to all around the metropolitan area, Branson.
Yeah, Joplin. I'll go just about anywhere. So
Okay. And I think we were talking earlier, you have a website as well, is that
yes,
correct?
it's messengerplumbing.com.
Okay. Lots of good information on there. People can get on there and
we're
look around.
we're still working on that. We're still trying to revamp a few things on there, new logos that we've come up with, and
Okay,
just
great.
trying to add some different features to kind of help. Then we're going to have kind of like the question and answers, most common questions, and try to have some answers for that. And
Oh, good.
So-
Those are always helpful on websites. Websites, for people who've never worked with one or tried to create one, it's an ongoing project.
Oh yes,
So, once you create one, you have to keep it updated, and sometimes you have to do some reconstruction. We're getting ready to do some revisions on ours, and but a good website, people keep it updated and give you continuing information, top of the news information, new products, different things going on. So, if you get to a website and all the information is old or obsolete or outdated, you might want to check someone else. You want to get with someone who's keeping on top of things and what's going on.
Absolutely.
So what is one of or do you have a particular project, Sarah, that what are people doing mostly right now? I know there's a lot of remodeling going on. Is there any one specific thing that you're finding people are trying to get done?
People are moving now that it is getting a little bit cooler outside. The mental thinking is switching to inside projects. So I'm getting a lot of calls to remove wallpaper and paint, and usually spring cleaning is getting everything ready for outside, and then the fall hits and everything's moving back inside. So they're like, well, everything that we've put off, in the summer, we want to do it now. So I've got a lot of calls that are painting, remodeling on the inside. In 2 days I've gone to 8 people's homes, and it's just they are ready to move, and a lot of them want things done by Christmas and their bigger projects.
That's
they
what
are
I was
getting
going to
ready
say.
for the holidays.
They're
so-
getting ready for the holidays. They want everything looking nice and neat and clean
Yeah.
inside and,
Yeah.
and festive. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know if people
Well,
change decor drastically for the holidays. I know some people do.
I do. I have that one client that I hang pictures for, and that is one thing that we do. I go out at the end of October, and we start hanging all of her winter pictures and all of her garland and things in her house. It's absolutely beautiful, and I love it that she totally changes her entire house for Christmas.
Well, yeah. How fun would that be?
Yeah.
Do you, speaking of that, do you hang Christmas lights for people too?
I do hang Christmas lights. That's one of the. I grew up on a roof with
My
my dad.
goodness, Sarah,
so
you just do it all.
I love getting up on the roof. You bet, absolutely.
Okay, because that's something that a lot of people enjoy, but it's not always easy to accomplish that.
Right.
So first of all, you usually have to have tall ladders and all kinds of different things, and but I think it's really neat when people do that and go crazy and decorate. But I don't do that.
Well, you need to have me over so I can do it for you.
I do. Well,
let's just throw that in there.
let's
I'll
just throw
slide
that in there.
Paul, if you're listening.
Matter of fact, I think she's got her schedule book right there. She can go ahead and
Okay.
she can get
I'll
you
talk
in
to you
it.
after the show. Perfect. Do you come to the lake? Because that's where I live now.
Oh, yes, I will come
Okay.
to the lake.
I don't know how many people will see it. Most of our neighbors don't come down the lake very much. We have a few that are full time down there, and but that's a great time to be there, actually.
It's for your enjoyment.
It is. It is. And if projects go like planned, we're going to have our roof all enclosed. I mean, our decking all enclosed and screened in. So I'm going to have like an
Awesome.
extension of an outdoor living space,
Oh,
which I
that's
thought would really
exciting.
be fun to decorate in the holidays. You could
That's
put all kinds
exciting.
of lights out there and maybe even a Christmas tree.
Oh,
and
definitely a tree.
I'm thinking all kinds of fun things. So, yeah, if my husband's listening, you probably should turn off the radio now. Because we've had this discussion a little bit. He's like, I don't know about putting trees out there. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Robbie, is there anything that you don't do plumbing wise? I mean, do you do as much as what I'm thinking about is we had a call the other day and someone asked us if we did water softeners. Well, no, we don't. We're not plumbers. Do you do water softeners as well?
I do water softeners. The only thing I really will not mess with is a well or
Okay.
any of the well equipment, the pressure tanks, things
Okay.
like that. I just don't, I don't know enough about those
Okay.
to handle with. Now, my uncle used to own. He's the one that started Messenger well drilling.
Okay.
And so I've been trying to kind of get with him so he can kind of show me some of that stuff so that I can take care of those customers that call me up that have some of the minor issues, with those. But I haven't got to that yet.
We have used you guys before on our well in Nixa. When we had
Oh.
some issues, we called Messenger
Messenger well
well
drilling.
drilling. And you guys came out, and I think, of course, typically what happens is when you have an issue, it's either on a holiday or a Sunday it never happens during normal working hours, it seems like. But I know that we had one time our well went down we got up Sunday and there was no water. I don't know what happened. There was Saturday night, Sunday morning there wasn't. So
Oh, no.
we gave them a call and they came out that day and got us going. So great company. I was very appreciative they would come out on a Sunday.
And I'll tell you, that
So-
goes right to Robbie. I'll totally speak on his behalf. He is amazing. If I ever hit an issue that it is over and above my head, I call him and he is out there as soon as he can. And sometimes I'll have my clients will say, hey, I need a plumber, and I'll call him and he'll get right out and take care of them. So he is very, very good about getting right on issues that need taken care of right away.
And that's something else that I think is real important. And when you find a professional like Sarah or Robbie or us that you trust and you use them for whatever their expertise is, a lot of times those professionals have very good connections to other people that they can send you for other problems you have at your home that you can feel good about having them come out too. Because, when we refer another company, we feel like it's our reputation on the line as well. And I know that Sarah and I have talked about that before.
Yes.
So if we're going to refer someone to our clients, we want to make sure that we're referring them the best that we could find in that particular area.
Yes, absolutely.
So that way you're not having to pick someone out of a phone book and hope that you're getting a licensed insured professional.
Right.
So that's important as well. It looks like we have a caller on the line. We have Sandra at Lebanon. Go ahead, Sandra.
Okay, I have a question. I think it's for Tommy.
Okay.
I have an 84-year-old house. I think the toilet in here was put in when the house was made because it uses all kinds of water.
Okay.
You change that kind of thing?
Yes, ma'am. We can either change out the toilet or we can rebuild it. Either one. It's best to go with one of the newer style toilets. One of the toilets that I really like to tell people to get is the ones from Sam's. I think they're like $98, $99. They're a dual flush toilet. Very, very water efficient. So that's a really good way to go, and I can come out and install that for you.
Okay, I have another question. I have a storm cellar under the house.
Okay.
It's not insulated, but there's a heat light down there that I turn on all winter. My electric water heater is down there.
Okay.
Is that good, bad, or indifferent?
It's indifferent. It's not really gonna affect anything as long as you have some kind of heat in there just to kind of maintain. I mean, the water heater's not going to freeze. You're more or less worried about the water lines that are exposed in that cellar that you would need to worry about. The water heater is going to keep the water hot, so you don't really need to worry about anything happening to it. So as long as it sounds like you're doing the right thing by putting a heater down there and just keeping those water lines, or that room at a temperature above freezing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm of the old school. Should that water heater have a blanket on it too? You know, a water heater blanket, you know, those
Yes.
insulated things.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm not really much of a fan of that. It depends on how old the water heater is. The newer water heaters
Yeah.
are insulated and built so well that you just don't need them. And I have also been told that some manufacturers would actually void your warranty on that if you put the blankets on them. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on how you know, if your water heater is anywhere between 4 to 6 years old, you're probably really good. You don't need to put a blanket around it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Sandra, for calling in today. Okay, that brought up a question for me. What is a dual flush toilet?
They're
Well,
awesome.
Let me see if I can explain this the best way. There's 2 buttons on the top of the tank.
Okay.
If you go number 1, you push number 1. If you go number 2, you push number 2.
I have never heard of that.
They're
awesome.
very very nice. They still fall underneath the category of the new low consumption.
Okay.
I think 1.6 is what you're supposed to have. I've been wanting to say that these are here actually a 1.28 gallon flush.
Wow.
So they're very very low consumption, and when you flush the number 1, you only flush half of the tank, so you're not flushing.
I
so
see.
like on a regular toilet, even though you have a low consumption, every time you flush it, you're flushing 1.6 gallons.
The whole tank.
the whole tank.
With these right here, you're only going to flush like maybe 0.8 gallons because you don't have any solids or anything to push out. You're just pushing out liquid,
Right.
so it's just going to flush just enough to get that water out and get some clean water in.
I have not heard of that, but you know, some of the complaints when they came out with those original low flush toilets was that there wasn't enough water sometimes to flush everything out, and so people are flushing it 2 or 3 times. I'm thinking, well, that's not very energy conservative if you have to flush it multiple times.
Yeah, they've changed
But-
the S traps inside of them. They've
Okay.
also when they first came out with those, they didn't glaze the throat or the
Yes,
S trap,
uh-huh.
and so things were getting hung up
Yep.
inside there. But now they've put a real heavy glaze inside there, so it's real slick. They're really good toilets now. I think they've pretty much worked out everything that could
Wow.
go wrong with them.
Well, I had not heard that term before, and I thought, I'm going to find out what
It's
that
awesome
is.
toilet. Every house that I remodel, I have him install those toilets, and my clients love them.
Wow.
Oh, yes. And they're really, really great toilets.
They're a good toilet, and for the price, you really can't beat them. I mean, $100 for
Yeah,
the
no
toilet,
kidding.
it basically comes. It's like a plug and play, if you will. It
Mm-hmm.
comes with the new supply lines, the wax seals, the bolts. I mean, it comes with
It comes with
everything.
everything.
you need.
Seat. It comes with everything you need for that thing to be hooked up.
I think the last time we bought one, you know, by the time we ran around and got all the parts and pieces, it was just kind of a pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's good that they put everything in it, and wow, that's pretty interesting. Do you have one of those, Dan?
No, it's the first time I thought he stole a joke or something.
Now, I do like to tell those, but no,
No, I think he's serious about this.
I'm
well,
pretty
that's,
serious about that one.
That's
They're awesome.
Yeah,
That's
go-
something new that I had not heard of. So I'm sure some of our listeners didn't know that either.
Yeah, and you can. I mean, if you don't have Sam's around you or whatever, I mean, Home Depot sells those.
Okay.
They have pretty much the same style, and I'm wanting to say they're about the same price too. I think I was in there the other day, and so they're pretty good.
Is there
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
is there a difference between because that's not something that people shop for on a regular basis, I wouldn't think, is toilets, unless you're a builder or something. But I know, how do you know? I mean, there's different sizes, widths. I mean, you go look at those. The last time we had to buy one, I'm thinking, wow, how do you know if you need a tall one, a short one, narrow?
And usually
Just-
they're way up on display, so you
Yeah.
can't like sit on them to see
Yeah.
if your feet are hanging off the edge.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
what.
But I mean, is it just personal preference?
Yeah, it's
at
more
that
of a
point, or-
more of a comfort. I mean, basically they have three sizes now. You've got just a regular size, which I think is 15 inches to the top of the rim. Then you have a 17-inch, which is called a comfort height, and then you got the 18, which is going to be your
Handicapped, okay.
style. So like the toilets that you get from Sam's, they're actually an elongated bowl.
Okay.
And then it's a comfort height, so it's 17 inches.
Oh, okay.
And so they're, for a toilet to sit on, I guess, I mean, they're pretty, I'm a tall guy, so I mean, they're pretty comfortable.
Yeah, for someone that's taller, I guess that would make sense.
Yeah, so I mean, and just a lot of people, I mean, really and truly, when I go and change out a toilet, I'm usually changing out the shorter 15-inch ones, and they're going with
a
comfort.
taller one?
Yeah, they're going with the comfort height
Yeah.
on all those. So.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like it's time for us to take a little break here. So thanks for listening in, and we'll be right back at you shortly.
This is the Wall Street Journal Report. I'm Jennifer Kashika. Stocks now little changed after being broadly higher earlier. The Dow Industrials are flat at 11,433. The Nasdaq's down a fraction, S&P 500 off 1.5 points. Consumer sentiment inched up in early September. Wells Fargo global economist Jay Bryson says the Thomson Reuters University of Michigan's reading wasn't bad.
It was a little bit stronger than what the markets had expected. To put this in perspective, though, this number remains very, very depressed at lows that we saw back in 2009. So I think it's probably still a little bit too early to pop in a lot of champagne corks.
Most major credit card issuers reported improvements in loan performance in August, though Capital One says its delinquencies and charge-offs rose from July. Charge-offs, loans banks don't expect to be able to collect, are near four-year lows. Crude oil sharply lower, down $1.67 at $87.71 a barrel. This is the Wall Street Journal Report.
Looking for a better way to grow your business? A Regions Cash Core analysis can help uncover ways to optimize your cash flow and improve your bottom line. It's all part of the better business banking experience we're building just for you. So, if you're ready for a bank with the insight and guidance to help grow your business, switch to Regions. Drop by a branch or visit regions.com/yourbusiness today. Regions, it's time to expect more. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
New York Life Insurance Company is still strong, still stable, and still hiring. By becoming an agent with New York Life, you can make a difference in your local community by helping families secure their financial futures. Regardless of your experience level, our comprehensive training and world-class marketing support help make it easy to establish your business. To learn more about how you can help families achieve peace of mind, visit newyorklife.com/career.
From the Ozarks News Network, here's your 10:30 report. A man has been stabbed during a carjacking on Springfield's west side. Officers say the man went into the come-and-go on South Grant when three women tried to take his car. When he intervened, he was stabbed in the leg. They took off in the car. It was later found abandoned. Springfield police are looking for a man who robbed the Sonic Drive-In on West Commercial Street. The suspect walked into the building and demanded money. It's not clear if he actually showed a weapon. He escaped on foot, but may have had a getaway car waiting nearby. The U.S. Postal Service is considering the possibility of moving its mail processing facility out of Springfield. Under the plan, mail would be processed in Kansas City. The move would be part of a plan to reduce the cost of postal service nationwide. About 230 people work in mail processing in Springfield. I'm Jamie Turner reporting for the Ozarks News Network.
Bologna and peanut butter don't go together. Stripes and plaid don't either. But thanks to the Walgreens brand sale, AA batteries and mouthwash do. Because this week at Walgreens, you can mix, match, and save on thousands of Walgreens and W brand products. Buy one Walgreens or W brand product, get one 50% off. See store or walgreens.com for details. Walgreens, there's a way. Of equal or lesser value. Offer not available on products or services submitted for insurance reimbursement. Other exclusions or restrictions may apply. Void where prohibited by law.
When you drive a hybrid, you're not just driving a car, you're driving an idea of helping out, of saving things, like gas, trees, water, and air. What if driving a hybrid could help you save on auto insurance? Now it can. Ask a farmer's agent about our hybrid discount, one of dozens of discounts that could save you hundreds of dollars. Let us help you save more than the planet. Find your agent today at farmers.com. Discounts apply to selected coverages, perils, and policy types only and may vary by eligibility.
The season is finally here, and the ultimate football fan deserves a bigger, better TV now. Sears has you covered. Buy a top brand TV online and pick it up in store the same day. It's how Sears helps avoid delay of game penalties.
This week only at Sears, save $300 on a Sony 40-inch 120Hz LED TV with internet connectivity. Only $799.99. Plus, find out how to get 36-month special financing on a new home theater system.
It's the ultimate football experience, only at Sears.
See store or Sears.com for details. Prices may vary in Alaska and Hawaii. Sale ends 9/17.
The following is a dramatization. I was working the Truth Squad out of St. Joe Airport. I found Senator Claire McCaskill standing next to a fancy private jet. This your plane, ma'am?
I made a huge mistake.
I know, ma'am. $300,000 in unpaid taxes on your private jet. Doesn't look good. But that's not why I'm here.
I want to be held accountable.
I'm sure you will be, ma'am. Taking $80,000 from the federal government for flights on your own jet doesn't look good. But that's not why I'm here, ma'am.
I
I don't know what else I can do. If you want me to go home.
That's why I'm here, ma'am.
Senator Claire McCaskill, guilty for violating our trust. Go to truthaboutclaire.com and get the facts. American Crossroads is responsible for the content of this advertising. Paid for by American Crossroads, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
A few showers, otherwise mostly cloudy and cooler for today with a high 68. Partly cloudy for this evening with a shower or thunderstorm rattle of 52. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. High for tomorrow, 76 to start the weekend. Low tomorrow night of 60. Times of clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm for Sunday with a high of 81. Times of clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm on Monday, high of 85. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
53 degrees in Springfield.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions."
And welcome back now to Home Repairs and Solutions with Mary today, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air Heating and Air Conditioning, your local Amana dealer. And once again today, Mary Pearson, and your host was Sarah, and your guest is Robbie.
That's correct. We've got quite the team assembled here today.
We do.
So anything you want to ask us about, any home repairs or solutions? You need some lights hung, you need something painted, you need your plumbing, if you're going to go out of town and you need your house winterized, we can take care of all that for you today. So let me give out our numbers one more time, just in case someone's waiting to hear a number to give us a call. Our number here is 862-9977 or 1-800-375-0056. Free call, great information. We'd love to talk to you. So we've got a little bit of time left here before we have to take off for the weekend. So I think you had a question. We were talking during the break. I think you had a question for Robbie here about water
heaters. Yes. And this is the question I know a lot of people have, and I don't know exactly what they're called, but a normal hot water heater.
Excuse me, what is it?
I know. I say hot water heater on purpose to aggravate him because they're water heaters. The water's not hot when it goes in, so I really give him a bad time.
Oh.
So a regular water heater that stands up and it's round, or the ones that you hang on the wall, is it an instant?
It's called heat on demand.
Heat on demand. So what is the difference in pros and cons between those?
Well, the heat on demand, you can never run out of hot water. It's always going to heat it. You can turn the water on. You're always going to get hot water. It's never going to cool off. The tank, it's got to recover, and so therefore you've only got so many gallons of hot water that you can run. Okay. The cons about the heat on demand is you can only usually use one appliance at a time. You can usually take a shower. If you turn something else on, depending on, of course, the size of the unit that you get. Now, if you oversize your house, then you can have 2 showers going at the same time and probably be okay. You could run the dishwasher and take a shower, or wash clothes in the dishwasher at the same time, and probably still be okay. But if you try to go above what it's specified for, then you're not going to get the efficiency and the hot water that you're looking for.
So in a home with me and my 3 teenage daughters, and we all have 3 showers, there's no way we're all going to be able to shower at the same time.
You need 3. I can tell you that right now. With 3 teenage girls, they each need their own.
Yes.
You need a commercial grade that's for an apartment complex or something like that.
So it would probably benefit us more just to have a traditional water tank.
Correct.
Rather than one of those
and we can actually, like I think we even talked about your house, we could go, we can add another water heater and just run them in conjunction to each other.
That's
so
right.
that we could give you either 90 to 100 gallons of hot water as opposed to just the 40 or 50 that you have.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is you have to maintain that amount of hot water. So your fuel bill is going to go up a little bit in order to do that. So
yeah, my house has plumbing issues. So Robbie's been awesome to come over and help. We live on a slab, and it's crazy. And as he said at the very beginning of the show, your water faucets outside might not be tilted correctly, and that's how mine was. And it broke, and there was water everywhere. And you just can't crawl under a house with a slab. And we had
not very easily.
Yeah, we ended up having to take out the entire cabinet, cut out the back side of the cabinet, go through the wall. It was crazy. Robbie was amazing to fix that. But I want 5 water heaters.
I can do it.
She wants 5. Okay, so if you want 5,
yes,
can you like hook all those together, or does each water heater have to have all their own piping system?
No, I can hook them one to another.
Oh, can you?
Mhm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, there might be some other folks out there who need more than one water. Sometimes I do. It's kind of interesting. It's like, we just ran out of hot water. You got to wait.
Because basically what you'll do is your first tank that the water goes into, the cold water goes into, you'll set that at a lower temperature. You'll set it at like 110 to 125. And then your second tank will be set at like 135 or 140, however hot that you actually want the water. So that way the water coming out of the first tank is going into the second tank already heated. And the second tank only has to heat it up just a few more degrees. So you're not really having to maintain 2 tanks at 100 and whatever you want it at. You set it low, and then it goes in, and it's a little bit hotter. So that kind of makes it a little more efficient.
You're so smart.
Oh, that's a good
awesome.
idea.
That is a great idea.
That is a good idea.
I am pretty smart, thank you.
You're coming to my house later, and John's going to come home to a new water heater. Hot water heater.
or 2 or 3 more, whatever. Well,
That's right.
Well, he should be happy because when it's his turn to shower, which I'm sure he's probably the last out of the pack,
He
and he'll
is.
have hot water.
He is.
That should make him happy.
Yes.
Something else we were talking about. On these toilets you were talking about earlier, you said that when someone purchases those, and we need to double check this, but CU apparently has been giving a rebate for people installing those. So if you're a client of City Utilities and you're interested in one of these dual flush toilets, is that what you said?
Actually, any efficient.
Any.
It doesn't have to be the dual flush.
Okay.
As long as it is a water efficient toilet, then they're giving a $75 rebate.
Okay. As long as it's professionally installed.
As long as it is installed by a licensed plumber.
Okay,
Yes.
because you have to fill out certain paperwork saying you installed it and this and that and the other
Right.
for them to get their rebate.
Yeah,
okay.
the customer will download the paperwork, and then there's a section on there that the plumber has to fill out.
Okay. Well, I would say that would make that very affordable then.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
To get that kind of rebate. So that almost pays for the toilet.
Just about, yeah.
Yeah.
If you
so
get it
you're-
at Sam's,
yeah.
or wherever you can find it. But so people that are interested in that, you can even get some money back on that, which I thought was a great idea. You know, City Utilities has a lot of pretty neat rebate programs. I don't know so much about the appliance side, but I know on the heating and air conditioning side, if you put in a high efficiency system, you can get rebates. This fall, if you have your furnace, if you do a preseason tune-up on that, they're giving $30 rebates. So take advantage of that. If you're a City Utility client and you're thinking about doing one of these projects, make sure that you do get a hold of someone that's professional who can help you with the rebates and the paperwork and help yourself out and save a little money while you're at it. So I don't know, is there anything else you got going on besides just cleaning out gutters and painting stuff for people? One thing about Sarah, for those of you who just heard her for the first time today, you know, sometimes you'll call a professional, and if you just need something small done, not everyone will do a small job. But Sarah will do anything, like she said, from just hanging pictures, if that's what you want, to complete remodels. I know, for instance, right now she's working on a home that's empty for a realtor or real estate company that they're getting refurbished so that they can put it back on the market. So it doesn't matter how small or large your project is, it's always great to have someone that you can call that can take care of anything that you might need.
Right.
I know, for instance, just sitting here at the break, Robbie got a call. There's someone here in town that has a busted water main. So as soon as he gets out of here, he's going to have to go to work right away. So, so if it doesn't just have to be installing something, it can be repairing something that breaks as well. So it's great to know someone that can take care of all of those issues for you. And So if you have something like that, if you have any questions for these guys, Sarah, I don't think we've had you give out your phone number or your information yet.
Oh, well, it was all about Robbie today, but I will.
I will
we'll
share.
The
I will
airtime.
share.
We'll share.
Yes.
Blah 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 blah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sarah Ivaska with Solutions by Sarah, and my number is 417-343-1085, and my website is solutionsbysarah.com. So,
I haven't been on your website. I need to hop on there and see what you got going on.
All right.
I'll bet you probably have some before and after pictures.
I do.
I'm guessing because I know that you like to take a lot of pictures. So
I do.
And that's always helpful too for someone that they're not sure and they want to see a before and after picture. Then it will give them a visual of what you can do and how nice you can make something look like a new bathroom or a newly painted room or whatever it is that they want to have done.
Yeah, I actually did a small remodel for a lady, and she was gone. She was like, it'll be perfect, we'll be gone, we'll come back and it'll be done. And I said, all right, that's awesome. And so I met them there when they got home, and she walked in and she started to cry. She could not believe the difference, just small things made. And I was like, it's okay. And she's like, I'm so excited. And I was like, oh, good. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Sometimes when they cry, you don't know if that's a good thing or
I
a
know.
bad thing.
I've never had anybody do a bad cry. So
well, that's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Something that we might want to touch on as far as different plumbing type things. Is there a difference in the pipe you use for plumbing now? I know that in our business, a lot of things have changed. A lot of things have been upgraded. Is if you have an older home, is it advantageous to come in and maybe have your piping replaced? If you have old galvanized piping or something, is it a good idea to get rid of that?
If you're starting to have a lot of issues with it, then yeah. I mean, if it's starting to throw a lot of rust into your faucets, and your faucets are starting to get clogged up a lot. If you're starting to, have little pinholes inside the pipe, then it'd probably be best to go ahead and just go through the whole system and have it, as much of it replaced as possible. Because a lot of the stuff will come up through the walls.
Sure.
And so it depends on to what extent that you want to go with that. But a lot of times we can just tie into the lines just underneath. Because typically speaking, the vertical pipes are not near as bad as the horizontal pipes are. So if we can just take care of everything underneath the house, and then you can probably still get quite a bit more life out of those pipes inside the wall instead of having to cut sheetrock and all that.
Okay, is that because horizontally there's water sits in it more than vertically?
No,
or why would it be?
I don't know why.
That's interesting.
It's just because water's always sitting in it. I mean, it's always got pressure. It's always got water in it. So,
okay.
But I don't know if it's just for some reason I've just ran across that the vertical pipes are a little bit in better shape than what the horizontal ones are underneath.
Okay. So what do you typically put in? And when is it plastic? Is it plastic now that you guys use?
I use
or what?
PEX. I use PEX a lot. I'll put whatever the customer wants. If they want copper, I'll go with copper.
Oh, okay.
I typically try to stay away from the CPVC. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it's a very good piping system. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just my personal preference.
Sure.
The PEX I really like. It'll swell to 3 times its original size before busting if it does freeze.
Oh, okay.
The amount of time it takes for me to run PEX as opposed to a copper system is about a third. So you're not
so
paying.
it saves on labor.
Saves a lot on labor.
Yeah.
And really and truly, the cost of the fittings and the pipe and everything is about equal with each other. Copper as opposed to the PEX. I mean, I'm sure the PEX is a little bit cheaper because copper's so high right now. But
yeah, it is
it's the little fittings, and then you've got little clamps that you got to have on them. So all those add up. So I think it's about even on cost of material, but you save a lot of money on the labor.
On the labor side of it. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I know that that sometimes we get into situations where someone has an older home or something, and you can get into all kinds of different things, and with the new products and stuff, sometimes I think that maybe it's worth the cost of upgrading something. Like we had a Stillwell Electric on here, and she was talking about upgrading electrical panel boxes and different things going with that.
I love Stillwell Electric, by the way.
Isn't she a doll?
Lucy and Larry are the bomb.
They are. They're really nice people.
She
was great on the show. She was great on the show. I loved having her. I'm probably gonna see if I can have her come back on the show. We've got a few minutes here left. We'll give out our number again. We're at 862-9977, or 1-800-375-0056. If you have any questions, you got a few more minutes to get them into us, and we'll be happy to talk to you and answer them for you. I was trying to think, as far as plumbing, do you do anything? Do you install sinks or anything like that on the plumbing side? Or
yeah, I'll come in, take the old sinks out, put the new ones in.
Okay.
Toilets, water heaters, water softeners. I can add a new water softener or just replace the one that's there. I can rebuild shower valves if you have a valve that's leaking, it's just dripping all the time. Typically speaking, I can come in and rebuild that and save the cost of having to replace it. So if it's a shower where it's behind sheetrock or tile, usually I can come in and rebuild it as long as the actual valve body itself is in good condition. So we can save a lot of money there. So yeah, pretty much anything inside the house I can take care of. If you got to have a new yard service, so the water from the meter to the house, if that's got to be done, I can take care of that. The sewer, I can take care of. If you've got like old clay pipes that are just starting to crack out and roots are getting in them, then we can come in and replace that with PVC.
Okay. Will tree roots not crack PVC pipe as well?
Not well. It can, but it's a lot harder.
Okay.
I mean, and they usually what they do is they usually go into a joint.
I see.
Because that's the most.
Where it's the weakest point. Or
yeah,
something.
that's a little more brittle, and it's easier for them to find a way through there. But typically speaking, I mean, it's real hard for roots to get into a PVC system if it's installed correctly.
I see. I have a question on water softeners. That's an issue that kind of bugs me because we have really hard water. I think a lot of people here have really hard water. We used to have a water softener on our well in Nixa, and it took salt, and it took a lot of salt. And whenever we dumped the salt in there, then you had to run the water for a little while, because if you didn't, and like we put salt in it the night before and then made coffee the next morning, we had salty coffee. So I don't know what was up with that. It was a really old system. We quit using it.
That may be what. Yeah,
that could have been the problem.
Something internal may have went bad, but
there's other systems, right? They don't all require salt. Is that correct?
If it's a water softener, you can either go with salt or potassium. Now, potassium is about 3 times the price of what salt is. It's a lot more expensive.
Okay.
So, like a lot of people, if you're diabetic and you can't have the extra salt inside your diet, or extra sodium, then you have to use potassium in your water softeners. But like I said, the cost of them it's pretty high. Okay. Now, they've also got that new system out. I've done a little bit of research on them. I would like to get a hold of the company and try to get some more information from them. But that Easy Water system, they say is pretty good. Now I'm looking into being a provider for them, but I just got to get a hold of them and get some more information and see if it's a product that I'd like to.
Because that's supposed to be something that doesn't take any additional chemicals or salt.
Yeah,
is that
there's
right?
no salt. There's no nothing. It's just a little box you put on the wall, basically.
So I'm wondering how that softens the water. That's kind of interesting.
It doesn't really soften the water. It conditions the water. There's a difference. It's the way that the machine, the box, it conditions the water. It moves the iron. It just kind of, it's hard to explain. That's one of the reasons why I want to learn more about it. But
sure.
Supposedly I've talked to people that do have it and just love it. They did away with their water softener, put this in, and just love it. Yeah.
So it's just a box type item then that's just mounted on the wall by your water heater, I guess.
Well, it's just wherever you want to put it. Usually you want to put it just like your water softener, right where your water comes into the house at. That you want.
Okay.
It's got to go through that first.
Oh, so the water actually goes through the box?
Yeah. It's actually yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
You said put it by the water, so I'm thinking it has this, super power that it's going to, when the water goes, it pulls stuff out. I don't know.
It's all by osmosis. It just.
The water is molting.
Yeah, no, it seems like it's a pretty good system. I'd like to find out some more about it.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to know more about that too, and kind of cost-wise, because we have recently moved down to the lake, and we have hard water down there too. Now, something about hard water that I like the taste of our water. We have very good well in Nixa, and we have a very good well at the lake, and it tastes good, and it is just, I don't know. Some well water doesn't taste good to me, but ours is really good. But I will tell you, with hard water, cleaning stuff is a real issue. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, especially around my kitchen sink, because I do quite a bit of cooking, so I've got a lot of water and stuff, and I have a stainless steel sink, which when I replace it, I probably won't do that again just because of the hard water issue, because it really shows up. I get that white kind of stuff, whatever it is, calcium or whatever it is. So I'm constantly cleaning that stainless steel sink. So that's one of the things that I've kind of been thinking about, is maybe checking into some sort of system that will help remove some of that issue. And the same thing with, we have a tiled shower down there, and so I'm constantly, like almost daily, spraying the shower down so I don't have calcium buildup on my tiles and my grout and all that. So so water softeners are something I don't know a lot about. I would like to learn more about them. So once you figure all that out, Robbie, call me. And
Yeah,
tell
I'll
me how that
definitely get
works.
a hold of you.
Because I've seen the commercial stuff out, but I haven't talked to anyone that's installed them. So I'd be interested in knowing how that works. Well, it looks like we're just about out of time for today. We have about 1 minute left. I just want to thank everyone for listening in today, and I want to thank Sarah for
Thank you for
coming
having
back
me.
on and being my co-host. You were awesome, but I knew you would be.
Aw.
And thank you, Robbie, for coming on.
thank
it
you.
was a pleasure meeting you, and I learned a lot from you today. So that's one of the fun things for me about doing the show, is I always learn something every week from the professionals that we have on the show, and I hope the listeners do too. I'm sure they do. So if anyone has any questions for any of our guests today, Robbie, why don't you give your number out one more time?
All right, it's Messenger Plumbing, 417-773-9154.
And Sarah?
Sarah Ivaska with Solutions by Sarah, and it is 417-343-1085.
And I'm Mary Pearson with Spring Mountain Air. We are a commercial residential heating, air conditioning, and duct cleaning service company. And you can reach us at 417-831-4036. So thanks for listening, and I hope everyone has a great weekend.
Leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob.